Day of dramatic developments. Sartaj Aziz, the Pakistan National Security Advisor, did a press conference this afternoon where he said he was willing to come to India if there were no conditionalities attached. At about 4 p.m. this evening, India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj did a very bold, forthright press conference where she made it absolutely clear that the dialogue can only be between India and Pakistan. There can be no third party on the dialogue table, and the dialogue will only be about terror and nothing else.
I'm still prepared to go to New Delhi for NSA talks without any precondition.
आतंकवाद से आगे दायरा मत बढ़ाइए, आपका स्वागत है.
The war of words between New Delhi and Islamabad reached its crescendo 24 hours before the talks were slated to kick off. The drama reached its pitch when Sushma Swaraj minced no words in her hard talk to Pakistan and set a deadline for midnight.
आज की रात है सिर्फ, आज की रात ही है सिर्फ जवाब देने के लिए.
As New Delhi stuck to its guns, Pakistan refused to buckle, with sources in Islamabad telling India today that the NSA level talks are unlikely to take place.
New Delhi needed two assurances from Pakistan. A, keeping in mind the Simla agreement, Pakistan would not get in any third party as a stakeholder in bilateral talks, and that it would stick to the UFA agenda, that the NSAs, if they were to meet, would focus simply on terror and not to expand the ambit of talks to Kashmir or any other issue. But these assurances would be interpreted by Islamabad as preconditions.
Pakistan kept India guessing. After competing press releases on Friday, the diplomatic war turned into a face-off over media briefings.
I will also be carrying 3 dossiers on Raw's involvement in promoting terrorism in Pakistan. And these are the dossiers which were all sort of ready to be presented to them.
डॉसियर तो बहुत ही नॉन सीरियस बात है ये कहना. डॉसियर लहराए नहीं जाते, डॉसियर बंद लिफाफे में दिए जाते हैं और टेबल पे दिए जाते हैं, ऐसे लहरा के नहीं दिखाए जाते डॉसियर.
A month after the UFA icebreaker, there's little to show for progress on the ground, with guns on the border and treachery in bilateral diplomacy. The Congress and the opposition used the mounting suspense over talks to attack Modi's conduct of foreign policy.
Talks happen or they don't happen. That's not the issue anymore. What is an issue is, do we know what we are trying to do? Do we have a clarity in terms of our perceptions, in terms of our objectives, and in terms of the path that we have to take towards those objectives? I feel that there is no clarity at all.
As the scheduled talks teeter towards an impending collapse, has New Delhi and Islamabad's engagement been reduced to a game of diplomatic brinkmanship? With Smita Sharma in New Delhi and Kaswar Kalsra in Islamabad, Bureau reports, India Today.
One of the most important pieces of evidence that India had put together was a detailed dossier on Dawood Ibrahim. This included his latest picture, included details about 9 properties of Dawood Ibrahim, along with his passport details, his telephone bills in Pakistan, and all of this is part of the dossier that's been prepared by Ajit Doval and his team to be handed over to Pakistan if Sartaj Aziz does land in Delhi.
New Delhi is all set to furnish fresh evidence of terror mastermind Dawood Ibrahim's presence in Pakistan. India Today has accessed government's dossier which reveals the underworld don's dens and passport numbers.
ऐसे लोग जो होते हैं वो प्रायः कई पासपोर्ट बनवा कर रखते ही हैं. ये तो मैं पहले कह चुका हूँ, अस्थायी निवास तो पाकिस्तान में ही है, लेकिन समय समय पर वो अपना स्थान बदलता भी रहता है.
Even as India is all set to confront Pakistan, those close to the underworld don remain in denial mode.
They are claiming to have seen and published in some newspaper. Is it a genuine passport? Or it is a fake passport created by the Indian agencies?
But what has further strengthened India's claims, an English daily publishing a recent picture of Dawood Ibrahim in Pakistan. In 1993, according to the transcript accessed by India Today, Dawood and his men were rattled that this photo was published by India Today months after the Mumbai blasts.
As per the transcripts, one of his men, Tawfiq, during a conversation with another person had said that someone in Islamabad had told him that Dawood's photograph had appeared on India Today. When Tawfiq told others about Dawood's photograph, they were disturbed and were curious to know who else's photo had featured in the magazine.
The fresh photo and passport copy of Dawood Ibrahim confirming that he is still housed by Pakistan as the fresh evidence once again exposes that country's lies. With Adar Khan, Bureau Report, India Today.
There's no official confirmation just yet, but word emerging from Islamabad is that the NSA level talks are likely to be cancelled. Joining us for more on this is my colleague Smita Sharma. Smita, what's the word that you're getting from your sources in Islamabad, and why is it taking so long for an official confirmation of the cancellation to come through, Smita?
Well, you know, Rahul, because they are actually making sure that every word is very smart in itself. At the end of the day, this diplomatic wrestling bout between India and Pakistan for the last 72 hours was all about who would blink first. Now, you know, we are being told that Tariq Fatmi, the special assistant to Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, he has indicated to press persons in Islamabad that no preconditions are acceptable to Pakistan. So that clearly indicates that what we are looking at signs now is, you know, of these talks in all likelihood not happening, but clearly that meeting is still on in Pakistan, where they are coming out with that official statement, and we are expecting in the next 25 to 30 minutes at best. So that is the kind of window that we are looking at. But for Pakistan, you know, given the fact that India drew these two new templates, that A, you cannot engage with Hurryat, and B, that at least on the NSA talks, you cannot have talks on Kashmir. These were both, you know, premises that they have said that this is not just assurance India is seeking. These are preconditions, and clearly they will dilute Pakistan's principal position on the Kashmir.
We've got some breaking news coming in that two more Hurryat leaders have been detained. Gaurav Sawant has more details. Two more Hurryat leaders, Muhammad Abdullah Tari and Zamir Ahmad Sheikh Gaurav, being detained. Tell us more.
From what my sources in the Delhi police are telling me just now, Rahul, the total number of people detained has gone up to 4. Shabir Shah, Bilal Lone, Zamir Sheikh and Muhammad Tari. 2 more arrests likely to take place tomorrow and day after. Mirwais Umar Farooq arrives in Delhi tomorrow. Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani likely to come on Monday. As soon as they land in Delhi, they will be detained. The police are already in touch with their counterparts in Jammu and Kashmir. As soon as they deplane, they will be taken into preventive custody, and they will then be taken to their safe houses in Delhi, in South Delhi. And this is preventive detention. This is not being openly declared as an arrest.
Okay, I want to get in a word also now from Islamabad. General Atar Abbas, former spokesperson of the Pakistani army, is joining us. So welcome. With us also on this broadcast, representing the BJP, is Sambit Patra, and former High Commissioner to Pakistan, G. Parthasarthi, is with us on this broadcast as well. General Abbas, to you first. We haven't heard an official confirmation yet, but several of the Pakistani TV stations now seem to be reporting that the NSA level dialogue is likely to be called off very soon.
Well, can you hear me?
I hear you fine, General Abbas. Please go ahead.
Right. Okay, we are also waiting for that, but probably the sources from the government side, the foreign ministry, they have probably conveyed that they take these as preconditions, and therefore most probably the talks would not take place. This is unofficial, this is to the media, this is to the sources, but not yet the official word is out from the foreign ministry.
Mr. Parthasarthi, what could be taking so long? Is this drafting that's taking that much time in the statement that Pakistan puts out to explain why these talks have been cancelled, or would they also be checking with other world capitals, including Washington, informing them about the decision before making it public?
Rahul, I listened to Mr. Sartaj Aziz today.
Yes.
He's a person I've known for a long time, an economist of great repute and a man of moderation, even at the height of the Kargil conflict when I dealt with him. So I think the language he used was very strong, reflective. This was not the Sartaj Aziz one knew. He's not given to using that sort of language. Coming to, I've listened to what General Abbas says, and he speaks with very careful consideration. But I would suggest that what we have set is not preconditions. What we have insisted on is observance of the declaration at Ufa. I mean, it's all very well to say that it speaks of all issues. Of course, the Simla Agreement speaks of all issues.
Sure.
It took 30 years to get started on that. But the important point is that there were two portions. One was the preamble, which speaks of our larger principles, and the other was the specific points of what we are going to talk about now.
Okay, stay with me. Joining us now, live and exclusive on India Today, is Senior Congress Leader Anand Sharma. Mr. Sharma, welcome. You did a press conference earlier this afternoon in which you were scathing in your attack on the Modi government. You think they've blown this up. The BJP is saying we've pushed Pakistan into a corner, we've isolated them globally. Why do you think the BJP has got its script wrong, Mr. Sharma?
Well, it's not a partisan issue at all, let me make it clear, and I was not scathing. We had given some wise counsel to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and his government that they should have been alert and watchful when it comes to engaging Pakistan, given the complexity of the relationship and the history of tension and terror in this region. The UFA details were never shared with the country nor with the parliament. Now there is one interpretation of what was agreed but not reduced to writing, which has come from Islamabad from Sartaj Aziz. That has been happening for a long time. Now second thing is about Pakistan having given certain assurances which we were made to believe, which actually has not happened. Nobody has shared these details with us.
But in which case, if Pakistan has gone back, has the Indian government not done the right thing by sending a firm message?
No, it's not a question of going back or forward. Listen, Rahul Kanwal, let me tell you very clearly, don't try to give this impression or buy this propaganda that there's a firm message given. What was the assurance given which convinced the Prime Minister and satisfied him fully that we should take forward and agree to NSA level talks? That's a question that we have raised. We should have been very careful that there is an establishment in Pakistan which is not only the civilian government, but there's also the military leadership, the ISI, unless and until we were convinced.
So are you suggesting that the Indian government miscalculated, Mr. Sharma? Are you saying that the Modi government miscalculated, didn't do adequate groundwork?
Of course we have. Well, I'm afraid that we walked into a situation where Pakistan has exploited the NSA level talks to completely divert attention from the two major terror attacks, the LOC violations and the breach of the international border. Soon after UFA, before Prime Minister returned to Delhi and before Nawaz Sharif returned to Pakistan, the firing had started and there was an escalation of terror attacks. Udhampur, Gurdaspur. Then why were we keen? We should have been watchful there and exposed to the world that Pakistan is neither sincere nor committed. Let me also put it to you that this proposal for NSA level talks is not new but old. When it was during the UPA government, it was considered here and we made it clear to Pakistan that India will only agree, and listen to me, that India will only agree to these talks after the trial of the Mumbai terror attack accused is taken to a satisfactory conclusion. That was a precondition set. So if there is a departure which was made, we don't know why this departure was made, what convinced the government. And Pakistan has used it for propaganda purposes and just to once again create the Kashmir issue and the so-called separatists into what is not true or far removed from reality.
You've made some very, very important
for example,
points
when
that the BJP government needs to answer.
When there's talk of Hurryat.
Absolutely. You've made some very, very important points that the BJP government needs to answer. Mr. Anand Sharma, for joining us in India Today, thank you very much. We've got Sambit Patra from the BJP. You've heard the former minister saying this seems to have backfired. You're boxed into a corner. You're back to where you started from. So the entire outreach to Pakistan seems to have now come crashing down. How do you respond to that?
See, Rahul, before I go into the details and demolish the details that Mr. Anand Sharma has submitted right now over here, I'm appalled. I'm appalled because of the fact that, look, before even the before even the Pakistani dispensation speaks about this whole thing, it is the Congress party which is conducting press conferences and giving interviews and slamming their own government. Because if Modi and Indian dispensation is into all this, it is the Indian government. Mr. Anand Sharma, as the Congress spokesperson, should not at least have attacked before even Pakistan has made an attack. This is absolutely appalling. Now, first and foremost, he said, don't buy the propaganda that a strong message has been sent. Let me remind Mr. Anand Sharma as to what Mr. Khalilullah, the MEA spokesperson of Pakistan, said yesterday. He said that meeting the separatists and the Hurryats, in fact, was a matter of common practice in the yesteryears. Now, if a common practice has been made into a mission impossible, is it not a strong and a firm message? It is a firm message. Mr. Anand Sharma should understand.
No, but what do we get out of all of this? Where are we now? Where do we go from here? We are back to where we were about a year ago.
No, we may be back to where we were a year ago, but consistency has prevailed. The consistency in the sense that we have always talked of the fact talk and terror will not go together, but talk on terror. If we really want to go for a peaceful existence, then we want to talk. If we want to talk, then let's do away with the terror.
Has India made any forward movement, or is this just rhetoric?
You see, this is work in progress. It's unfortunate that the sort of consensus we normally have over the many years seen on foreign policy does not exist today, but that's the state of politics today, and I'm not getting into who did what to whom. But the fact of the matter is that this has been a constant source of controversy. The Congress rushed into Sharm el-Sheikh, and you know where that landed us. So everybody makes mistakes. You can go wrong in an assessment. But here I have always been averse to this, the Pakistanis being given this special treatment on the Hurryat. I mean, if an Indian delegation was to go there and insist on meeting the leaders of the Baluch tribes, I'm sure the Pakistanis will not take it with
Okay, let me get General Abbas to respond to that.
Balochistan is not a disputed
No. Sorry, I question the accession
is
of
that going to be a problem, sir? General Abbas, final words.
It's still not disputed.
Balochistan, I am asking Partner Swati, is Balochistan a UN declared disputed territory that you are going to ask to meet Baloch leaders there? That is a disputed territory, and Pakistan has every right to ask to meet the leaders there.
Just a minute. First of all, the UN resolutions, Pakistan never fulfilled, so are irrelevant today.
No, but the question
because you don't interrupt, you're not a Pakistani.
Is it a disputed territory or not?
Now,
is it a disputed territory or
so
not?
I think the fact of the matter is that Pakistan did not implement those resolutions, and they were replaced by the Simla Agreement. As far as I'm concerned, it has no if you want, go and try and take it up in the UN and see how far you get. You'll get nowhere.
Okay, we're expecting a response from Pakistan very soon. We're being told that in moments from now, we'll have a formal response from Pakistan, and that is likely to be that this dialogue is being cancelled. We've got General Athar Abbas joining us from Pakistan, Kaswar, our correspondent, who broke this story first for our viewers right at the top of 8 p.m. this evening. He's the first person from Pakistan who stuck his neck out and said Pakistan will cancel these talks. And now, Kaswar, your story coming out to be true. It's officially been confirmed by MOFA.
Yes, Ministry of Foreign Affairs have confirmed this story. In fact, it's not my story. It's India Today's and Aaj story, and I congratulate the whole of the team of India Today for breaking this story. This is unfortunate thing, and Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has come up with official version that in fact confirmed our story, which we have ran by our sources. That
okay, just stay with me, Kaswar. I've got another piece of breaking news coming in, and this is important as well. This one says that talks have not officially been cancelled. They're saying we will not go with any precondition, but officially the talks. This is the theatre of the absurd. Completely unbelievable what we are seeing. I've just got word from the Pakistan High Commissioner's office that Pakistan has not officially confirmed, has not officially cancelled the talk. They're saying there can be no talk if you've set a precondition, but we are not officially cancelling the talk. he say the official spokesperson, this is the official spokesperson, is saying onus of calling off the talks lies on India. Now this is completely bizarre, and I'm glad that we've got G. Parthasarathi, former High Commissioner to Pakistan, with us in the studios. Mr. Parthasarathi, officially the Pakistan High Commissioner saying we haven't officially called off the talks. His statement suggests Sartaj Aziz is not coming. What's going on?
No, listen, I think let us be clear. Pakistan does not want to be held sort of responsible for calling off the talks, so they have to adopt a certain position that they have. But let me say one thing, that I do not regard what the External Affairs Minister said as a precondition. For the simple reason that all that she has said is let us stick by what we have agreed to at UFA. Now, if Pakistan feels they went wrong at UFA, there's nothing we can do about it. And let me add one more thing, that it's no great secret, the whole world is talking about it, it's all there in the American press. There are serious differences between the military and the civilian government on this. Let them resolve that issue.
Okay,
I'm
we
sure
have
they'll
a
find
lot
out. And
I want
lastly, on the Hurryat, let me say one thing. Ours is an open society. Lot of people come and meet the Hurryat. They meet the elected leaders in Jammu and Kashmir. Every country does that. But if you single out and say, I want to meet only the Hurryat, and the government is a puppet government, that I regard as an insult to the Indian Constitution.
I want to go across to Smita
I'm not willing
Sharma.
to accept it.
She covers the Ministry of External Affairs for India today. And Smita, earlier there was a ping pong game that you were describing that was going on. The ball was lobbed back into Sartaj Aziz's court. They've put out this big statement, but the Pakistan High Commission is confirming on record that officially talks haven't been cancelled, even though no precondition is acceptable. What does that mean? No one wants to cancel the talks, but the talks won't happen.
This very long statement, Rahul, explicitly does not use the word cancellation, just like that Vikas Swaroop statement yesterday did not. Remember, and you know, that is where we had seen that first flash come out saying India called off, no, but then it was changed to dialogue. Unlikely, but I am sticking my neck out here and saying that yes, we have learnt it in Islamabad, Sartaj Aziz is not coming to India. So that is absolutely clear. We may continue. There's another 2 hours. Sushma Swaraj had set the deadline for a midnight, but beyond this, there's nothing that is going to happen, and Sartaj Aziz is not coming to India.
Sartaj Aziz is not coming to India. That is for sure, but the Pakistan High Commission says, Jyoti Malhotra, that the talks are not being called off. The onus for that lies on India.
I think it's completely absurd. It's really a theatre of the absurd. That on the one hand, the Pakistan High Commission has issued this really long statement giving sort of A, B, C, X, Y, Z reasons for why these talks should not be held, and on the other hand saying it's not being cancelled. I think everybody's playing and, you know, looking at
They're worried about the headline.
They're worried
about whether the headline will say Pakistan cancelled talks. They want the headline instead to say India puts unnecessary conditions which forces Pakistan.
But why are they worried about the headline? And I think the reason they're worried about the headline is that they don't want to look bad in front of the international community. And next month, as we all know, both Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif are flying on to the US, where we know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be meeting the US President Barack Obama.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Nawaz Sharif, but clearly the international community has put huge store by this India-Pakistan
I want to go across now to General Athar Abbas, former spokesperson of the Pakistani army. He indicated that Islamabad was unlikely to accept the conditions. But what do you make, sir, of this huge statement? And when the Pakistan High Commissioner's office is asked to have talks been cancelled, he says, no, the onus for that is on India.
Of course, Pakistan has issued its position. It has taken a position that it is India who has vitiated the atmosphere. And in this environment, probably there is no possibility of any outcome of these talks, because the environment which should have been made conducive for the talks are not there. It is only the hawks, the super hawks, the hardliners, they have taken over. And I believe that unless and until you create conducive environment for talks, the talks would be meaningless. And therefore,
sir, but the reality of UFA, you know, as Ambassador Parthasarathi has been pointing out, that statement was very clear that we will talk about terrorism. Now, clearly, after he's gone back to Islamabad, Nawaz Sharif seems to have come under a ton of pressure from the force that you earlier represented. And that's really what's forced Pakistan to do this U-turn.
As far as India is concerned, Pakistan's civilian government Pakistan's military and Pakistan's public are one, united force. It is on one page when we talk about talks with India. There is absolutely no division. I mean, don't take up a theme probably being projected or pushed by your security establishment and your intelligence apparatus. There is absolutely no division when it comes to talks with India. And therefore, Pakistan has taken this position. Now it's up to India that after a long period of lull, India has come down to invite Pakistan, etc. And now it is creating preconditions for Pakistan. So Pakistan has said there cannot be preconditions accepted for the talks. So therefore, now it's up to India. If it wants to talk, go into a dialogue, well, Pakistan, NSA is willing to come to dialogue. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we hear you just fine, sir. We hear you just fine. Now, there was the big blame game, Ambassador Parthasarathi. But do you think the Modi government has boxed itself into a corner? We are back to where we were 1 year ago.
No.
Have we made forward movement?
No. I think the message has gone loud and clear that the people coming to our country and playing game with our politics, meeting people who won't stand for an election and thereby disregarding the elected government, thereby questioning the very basis of our constitution, that by any foreign power is unacceptable. If tomorrow the United States does it, I would deal with it the same way. So the fact of the matter is, this is a decision taken now on the basis of what is the political reality in India today. Just one moment. See, if you go back to the Simla agreement, all issues are to be discussed bilaterally.
Yes.
There is no room for a third party. If you try to bring in a third party, someone whom you are very fond of, too bad.
But there is no third party.
Gaurav, what was discussed in the meeting between Amit Shah and the Prime Minister? What's the political fallout for the BJP?
The BJP, from what my government sources are telling me, the government is very clear. This is a long-term strategy they're putting in place. Hurryat is not a stakeholder. Hurryat is irrelevant. Pakistan may call off talks once, twice, thrice. Ultimately, if Pakistan wants to talk to India, it will have to realize it has to talk only to government of India and not to Hurryat. Now, but there is a situation. Jammu and Kashmir is a coalition between the PDP and the BJP. The government is looking at that, and that was the conversation, from what sources say, between Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. The two of them talk very closely on every big issue and the fallout that would be, and that was from what sources say. That was
but General Abbas, it's a perfectly reasonable thing that Ambassador Parthasarathi is saying, that if India and Pakistan are to talk to each other, why should there be another party? Let the two countries talk, let there be some resolution, and if and when we are talking about Kashmir, at that time the Pakistan Foreign Secretary or whoever is representing Pakistan can talk to the Hurryat.
Oh, absolutely. I will talk to the Gilgit and Baltistan. General, one little point. At that stage, when you talk to them, I will talk to the Gilgit and Baltistan National Front, I will talk to the Balwaristan National Front, I will talk to several people.
General Abbas.
Yes, I'm responding to Parthasarathi. Is Balochistan a disputed territory?
I'm talking of Gilgit and Baltistan. Gilgit and Baltistan. I'm saying the day we move to that, I will talk to the Gilgit and Baltistan National Front. I will talk to the Balwaristan National Front. In territory, I consider.
Is there a separatist movement?
No, in territory, I consider to be under Pakistani occupation.
Come on, be rational and reasonable, Parthasarathi.
No, I'm being reasonable. You talk to Hurryat, I will talk to Gilgit and Baltistan National Front. What's the problem?
So we'll keep going in circles for another 63
if you want to go start the circle, I'll circle and dance with you.
Okay, keep going in circles for another 63 years.
You started, you'll get it.
And listen, Parthasarathi, India is no superpower and Pakistan is no small power.
All right.
You cannot
I'm saying these are games we can both play at. These are games we can both play
at. Pakistan cannot be bullied by India.
No, these are games we can both play at.
Pakistan cannot be bullied by India.
No, I'm not bullying you. I'm merely saying that you have a Gilgit and Baltistan National Front. You have a Balwaristan National Front. By all means, meet Hurryat, we'll meet them.
Well,
it's in Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
Talk about Shimla agreement. Shimla talks about bilateral issues.
So you quote Shimla when you want Hurryat, and you quote and you don't want me to meet the Gilgit people.
Hurryat is not third party according to Shimla.
That's not the way the game is played. That's not the way the
Okay,
game
this is interesting. You know, there's a lot of this powwow, jaw happening on TV. There'll also be possibly, and that's something that everyone's fearing, a possible escalation on the back of this breakdown. Final words from all our guests, starting with Jyoti Malhotra, on what happens between India and Pakistan from here.
Well, I'd like to make 3 points, Rahul. And the first is that I think that this is a sad day because I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who made a very good beginning, or well, picked up the thread of the dialogue at Ufa, has allowed a completely marginalized group like the Hurryat to come in the way of what would have been a very, very important conversation between India and Pakistan. The Pakistani side was coming to talk about terror. If they had brought in Kashmir on the table with their counterparts here in Delhi, I think there was not going to be any conversation on that. If they were going to meet the Hurryat at the Pakistan High Commission, at the reception, or outside over a cup of chai, I don't think it would have had any impact on the India-Pakistan conversation, the dialogue.
Okay.
That would have been only on terror. Secondly, I think that this is going to be very difficult for India to pick up the thread of this dialogue again. Remember, 11 months ago, the Indian government, specifically the Prime Minister, called off the Foreign Secretary level talks between India and Pakistan. Today, again, this has happened precisely on the same reason. In the middle, it took a long time for Narendra Modi to do that again. My third point and the final point is that the coalition between the BJP and the PDP in Kashmir, that is going to have a huge impact. We've seen that there are Kashmiris, your own citizens in South Kashmir, who are now picking up the gun and have been for the last several months. These boys don't know fear.
Okay, Ambassador Parthasarathi, very quickly, final words from you. What happens next?
No, I think Jyoti has got a legitimate cause for concern. I am not. For the simple reason that we have stuck to what the dialogue should be about. The Hurryat is a sideshow. In any case, if they had come, they wouldn't be able to meet them because they would have been behind bars. So that is academic. The real thing is the dialogue process. We have stuck by whatever was agreed to by the two heads of government. Quite obviously, Mr. Nawaz Sharif came back and got a lot of flack from his namesake, General Rahil Sharif. And there has been backsliding by him. So let us give them time to find their own political equations. In the meantime, we'll keep in touch.
One thing seems very clear. The Hurryat has been pushed off the dialogue table. If at any point in the future dialogue resumes, Hurryat will not be a factor because that is a precondition that India has made very clear and there's no going back on that. Gaurav Sawant, Jyoti Malhotra, Ambassador Parthasarathi, General Athar Abbas, and to all our guests who've joined us over what's been a hectic evening. Now, some would say that all of us could have had some biryani if they'd called off this dialogue much earlier. Nobody would have been here working on a Saturday evening. But then, as I said, there's no need for a Bollywood film. This was the most exciting entertainment happening anywhere and it's finally reaching its climax.